Watch this.
The scariest part about these hospitals will always be being the patient yourself.
From my counting, that scene lasts from 15 to 20 seconds. And it's one of my favorite individual scenes of any Illymation video. Illymation in general is one of my all-time favorite YouTubers. And this entire video, Perks of Going to the Psych Ward, is one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time, let alone one of her best. But I wanted to break down this scene specifically in that video because it is a fantastically well-filmed scene, well-made scene, I love this scene, and I want to talk about why that is. I want to break down why this works into segments, and I want to start out by breaking down the context of the scene to prove that this is not like some Oscar Beatty silent storytelling moment. There's an actual reason for it to be here. The context being that psych wards do not have a very good reputation behind them. Psychiatric hospitals, based on what is said in movies and what is said, based on what they used to be like. So when young Alyssa was admitted to one, she was terrified of what it would be like. She was worried she was insane. She thought she was going to be, like, instituted in the way that they were in the old days. And that's why she is so nervous going into this elevator up to the psychiatric hospital. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of anxiety that goes into that. And that's why this elevator scene is so genius in a way that it actually has a reason to be here. It sells her anxiety perfectly. It is so, in every aspect of filmmaking we're going to go through, whether it be the claustrophobicness of the cinematography or the lightness yet eeriness of the sound design, only adds to how she clearly felt going into that elevator up to the top. Let's praise the sound design. The only sound effects you hear throughout this entire video are an elevator buzz that you hear throughout the entire scene, and the clicking of a pen. Putting aside the fact that the clicking of the pen does sound very good and very fitting for the scene, it's quiet, but it's just loud enough to have some impact. The pen itself has reason to be there, because Alyssa's anxiety thinks that she's taking notes about her. Like, because of what she thinks psych wards are like, and that sells the effect very well. It feels like the pen has a reason to be there. The clicking of a pen sound effect feels just loud enough to have some impact, but still quiet enough to not take away from the scene. I love it. And the buzzing of the elevator is this very light sound effect you hear in the background throughout the entire scene. It works too. The fact that there's any audio at all, but there's very light audio, that still sells her anxiety. If there was no audio to the scene, I don't think it would work as well. I don't think it would be quite as impactful. This little eerie buzzing of an elevator adds to the effect. I think it works very well. Now let's get into what is very likely my favorite individual aspect of this video, the cinematography. So we start out with this wide shot of them about to enter the elevator, right?
Always be being the patient yourself.
And then the door closes, and then it cuts to black. That's more an editing choice, but it's a genius editing choice. I'll get to that later. And then you see this shot of them in this elevator, and you can see it's a cornered shot, which I think does a really good job at letting you see the ceiling and two walls in a way that feels claustrophobic. And that works very well for this situation. In fact, every shot of cinematography has a claustrophobic feel to it that I think works wonders for the scene. Then you see a POV shot of her looking down at Alyssa. It is, again, very claustrophobic, the way you see just enough walls and you see just enough ceiling and or floor. So you see the ceiling, you see two walls, and you see like her looking down at Alyssa. Is a claustrophobic feel. And the same thing with this shot, where you see the ground, her looking up, and then the two walls. It works beautifully. And this POV shot is a lot more, like, towards Alyssa's perspective. It's not a POV shot, but it is, like, grounded on Alyssa's height, which I think works very well. It does add some claustrophobicness. Like, it puts you in her shoes in terms of height. It works very well. And then you see you click the pen. And then you see this last shot, which defies everything because of what psychiatric hospitals are actually like nowadays. She's smiling now. And then you see, like, this wide shot of this... Panning wide shot of this actually nice looking room. It works beautifully. I love the cinematography here. It goes from this massive wide shot to show you what it's actually like, but like Alyssa's worries can be something different, and that's what each individual shot of this claustrophobic elevator sells beautifully. I love it. Next up, let's talk about the character animation. So most of the time they're just standing still, but like then she looks down at Alyssa, and that works beautifully. You don't see her smile because of Alyssa's anxiety. You don't even see her eyes from Alyssa's POV. You just see, like, the blankness of, like, the under the hair. Like, you see, like, shading there. And it works beautifully. She looks down at Alyssa. Her eyebrows move a bit as if to, like, observe her. And then Alyssa's, like, genuinely scared. Her eyes... She's shaking enough, and her eyes are shaking at the same time. It's beautiful. Her mouth... is like really nervous, like maybe she's biting her teeth or something, if that's supposed to be the effect. And then she does like this really interesting thing with her body where she like is clearly uncomfortable. She hugs herself a bit out of like discomfort. Then she clicks the pen, and then when she clicks the pen, Alyssa like panics a bit because she heard something at all. And then like she looks back up at her as she's taking a note of what she thinks is her. And then she's shocked to see what the actual place is like. The character animation is very like brief. It's very not that expressive, but it works beautifully for this scene, like incredibly well. And lastly, I want to talk about the editing. The fade to black when they first enter the elevator, I think, is meant to be an ad transition.
The scariest part about these hospitals,
like the first time you watch it, but when you rewatch it in the same viewing,
being the patient yourself.
It works geniusly as like a cut to black, and then you're in the elevator. And then the cuts between shots, right? There's these brief cuts between shots that like show these POV shots. But like it's not, that's basically the only cuts between shots that happens in the scene until we get to the top. And I love the editing here. The editing is not too sporadic when it comes to cutting between shots. There are very few shots that are cut between, but it's just perfect. There's not nothing, but there is a few shots. If it was like Bohemian Rhapsody, where like every few seconds we cut to a different shot of the elevator, not only would it look dumb anyway, like it does in that movie, it wouldn't work claustrophobic-wise. It wouldn't sell the effect of how scared Alyssa was, of how, like, actively slow-paced it probably was to be in that elevator and to just, like, the entire world to stop around you and be so scared of that. If it was like Bohemian Rhapsody, like, every few seconds we had, like, a cut between a POV shot, a different part of the elevator, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't be claustrophobic. It would be way too fast-paced for how Alyssa actually probably felt in that moment when it happened. And then this is a brilliant shot to cut to, like, after all that claustrophobic nervousness. And then you see the actual brilliance of... I think the panning is a good idea. Like, she's, like, clearly looking at it for the first time. She's shocked. That's not what she thought it was going to be. So I think, like, not showing the entire thing, like, panning like that works very well.
Wait, isn't there...
And, yeah, I don't really have anything else to break down. This is just an amazingly filmed scene. Easily the highlight of the video, although the entire video was fantastic. Genuinely one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time. It's only like my fourth favorite Illymation video. I'm a huge fan of her. This elevator scene really blows me away every time I watch it. It really is a claustrophobic, incredible scene. Amazingly filmed. Has actual reason to be like it is, as opposed to like being Oscar baity trash like Maestro or something. Amazing stuff. I'm glad I broke it down. And that's about it. Bye-bye.